We're going to start off by focusing on the heart center. This is the seat of the soul, my friends. And from here, we're going to set the intention. We're going to be spending an hour, a little more maybe, with everybody here from different parts of the world. That's very exciting. And the purpose is to come together and really get some insights as to why am I here? What are we doing here? And how do I get to it? How do I know how I'm getting to it? And receive that information in a way that I can do something with it. That is the intention. We're going to connect with our high self just through intention. Take a nice deep breath. I wish to connect with my high self. And this is the part of me that knows my soul, is the voice of my soul. And my prayer is that whatever I'm hearing today, let me receive it in a way that I can use it, I can understand it, I can absorb it, and allow it to guide me forward from here. And whenever you're ready, you're welcome to open your eyes. So I tell you what, just this morning, I happened to be doing the internet thing, which we do when we have a few minutes in our time, and I happened to come across this wonderful Britain's Got Talent show, and I just wanted to start by talking about that a little bit, because this little show I saw, a young man from South Africa in Britain's Got Talent at 27 years old. He walks onto the stage with two crutches. Lovely, beautiful smile, young. You can see the life force in him, but he's got two crutches, and one leg is just from above the knee. It is amputated. You can tell. And so you think, a lot of people have these kinds of episodes in their lives, and you might think that, oh, he's going to come and sing a song. And I was half expecting him to say that. But when he was asked, so what is it you're going to do? What is your act? He said, I'm going to dance. Now, right there, you're like, really? And then he tells his story and he proceeds to do a dance. It is absolutely unbelievable. His control over his body, his expression, the music he chose about. He's singing that when you are with me, I can express myself and do whatever. It's the love for you. And you realize at the end that the you that he is talking about is none other than himself. So this connection with the inner me, the bigger me, the higher me, the loving me, that is the essence, which is what we want to connect. And that is the essence which is going to lead us uh, time, over and over again during this course of this life, in the direction of what we really come here to do. So I want to start off by saying there are a few things which sort of underline this. I'm also going to say one more prayer, which we will say that if there is something that I'm hearing and I already know, you can pass it by. Yeah, Malabika, we know that. What's the next thing? If there is something that you're hearing and that your mind says, that can't be true, that sounds like rubbish, pass it by. Don't spend time on it, arguing and all of that. But there will be other things that you might go like, really? Oh, I would like to know more about that. Those are the ones that you need to make note of. So I'm going to make a presentation. So I'm just going to rattle off. I'll tell you my challenge is I'm trying to telescope 20 years of practices and learning in these few minutes. So I'm going to just say what I have to say in the first part, and hopefully I'll be done in I'm being very ambitious in 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And then let's open up to conversation, and whatever is comes up, like, Malvika, you said this, I don't understand. Can you explain more? That would be great. So the first thing I want to say is that one of the things I've learned in the process of learning all the systems and modalities and healing, energetic stuff, spiritual stuff, are four fundamental tenets on which this talk is based. The first is that um, we are all here. The soul is here, and it's not an accident. The soul has very consciously chosen to come here to planet Earth and do its thing. And when the soul decides to come, we come from spirit, right? Which means that at some place, this spirit, this is high consciousness, this source energy, which is like an ocean, it's like I'm taking a cup of this ocean consciousness and I'm going to individuate it, make it mine, and go to Earth and do whatever it is that my soul is choosing to do. So it's very clear that we think that, oh, somebody else, God sent us here. God is just that. It's you. It's us all together. It's the ocean, and we are a fractal, a cup of that. So that's the first tenet. The second is that everything that happens in our life is a plan. The soul has got plans, and there may be lots of parallel plans, like we talk about timelines. So we can jump from one to the other. But the lifetime that we have come to spend over here, there is a very unique purpose that we have come to contribute. It's about advancement, moving the soul to a higher level of consciousness, as well as bringing all humanity, raising the vibration of the planet. And it's not as if we have to do something. It's like this: when we raise our own vibration, and because we are so intimately connected with everything and everyone, everything rises up. So it's not as if I've got to go and tell people, oh, look at my light is brighter. No, no, it's not necessary. We just have to be. We just have to be who we are becoming, become those things that we love and accept. And that in itself will radiate out and help people that we come in contact with to get to that place. The third thing is that everything that happens to us in life is not happening to us, is happening for us, so we can get our job done and get to that place from where we can offer our purpose. This is very important because we start out as a victim. We are little children, we have no power. And as we grow, we are empowering ourselves, right? Step by step, step by step. And then somewhere we get stuck and say, oh, I couldn't do that because so and so, such and such, my father, my mother, my uncle, my brother, my wife, but nobody is there. In order to fulfill our purpose, there is only me, my high self, the voice of my soul, as a part of creation. And so is everybody else. So we have to be there. I mean, if we have any semblance of victimhood or, oh, we, they, and all of that, that doesn't work. I mean, it will work because those are we have created that so we can learn from that. So let me just give you a few visuals which sort of will help me to sort of get the point across. So let me share my screen. Here we are. Let me start at the very beginning, as they say. So the four guiding principles, straight up the back, what are these four guiding principles? I hope you can see. The first one is own your soul sovereignty. This is what I mean by saying that we are a part of that creative process, this force. We have to own it. And we spend the first half of our lives, sometimes more than half of our lives, in really accepting the fact that, yes, I have this power within me. There are two gifts that we come with, which I was listening to my friend, um, what's her name? Suzanne Spooner. She talks about, she does QHHT, and she talks about, two gifts that we come with, which are suppressed. One is our gift of creativity. The second is our gift of imagination. And all through our lives, we've been told what you imagine is not actually the truth. So that's not true. We bring into creation that which we imagine, and we can, once we start imagining, once we imagine something that is already created in the ethers and it is sitting there, now the job is to bring that, attract that into our reality. So we have to be able to own this own this part of our existence, that if I can imagine it, it is possible to create it. The second thing is, how do we know? There is something called an emotional guidance system. In fact, this is the most important driving tool we have. And mostly, the way we've been raised, as you know, we are told to ignore our emotions, especially the ones which are not so good. Okay, don't cry. We'll give you something to cry about. Or also our great exuberance. If we are very, very much like heady about something, we are also asked to tone this down. Like, no, 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 you can't do that. It's not possible. Nobody has done it. Who do you think you are? And all that kind of stuff goes on. We have to take that with a good dollop of salt, not even just a pinch, a handful of salt. Then we have to get clarity. This is a part that I find that a lot of us have miss out. People that I talk to, my clients, that, okay, this is happening, I'm in a miserable place. All right, how would you like it to be? Well, I don't know. I'm only one person. I don't know. It depends on so and so. It depends on so. Somebody has to change so I can feel better. We have to get out of that. We are the creator of our lives, nobody else. And if I can't get clarity on how I would like it to be, it's unlikely that I will end up creating. So this is a big part of it. But knowing how I would like it to be is also not sufficient, because we have to then express it and ask. If we can't ask, if I'm sitting there going, oh my goodness, I wish my life was like this. I wish, she has that, or he has that. I don't have it. I wish I did, blah, blah, blah. Keep wishing, but add these other pieces. Get clarity, ask. Who are you asking? You're asking consciousness, the ocean of consciousness, the source of creation, saying, this is what I'd like to create. Tell me how. The other thing that will happen to us, and I'll explain why, is because as soon as we get clear about something, there is a part of us which wants to get into action. Okay, let me do something. Now I know what I want. Let's start working at it. Wait, wait. The real path to that does not come from the mind alone. The mind is very smart. We love our minds. Without the mind, we wouldn't be where we are. However, there is an inner guidance that will first tell you, do this, go there, talk to so and so, write an article, read this book, talk to your friend who has done this. That little voice sometimes has got the real key, and a lot of the times we don't even know so. And that little voice will come and give its advice if we are open to it. Most of us have not practiced listening to that little voice. So we'll have to do that. Once we got it and we take action, then it moves. I hear people say, um, this project of mine has a mind of its own. It has a mind of its own because it is aligned with your deeper desire and movement. So these are four. Let's unpack this. The first one is own your soul sovereignty. Let's see what that looks like. So get familiar with this, because this is our life. It looks exactly like this. We have the yin and the yang, the dark and the light. And as long as we are here on earth, it will always be that. Don't ever think. Some of my friends who've studied spiritual response therapy with me, they say, oh, do a clearing. Let's clear out the dark. You can't clear out the dark because there is no out there. Everything is a part of creation. Yes, by all means, you can recognize it, you can transmute it, you can transform it, but there is no place to go. What we have to do is we have to take a decision to move away from this part to that part. So if you are familiar with Nassim Harami, I'm going to suggest to you go to his YouTube channel and ask to see an animated version of this. You will see the light is always moving towards the dark, and the dark is moving towards the light. Now, what does that mean? If you look at it from the point of view of Earth, so let's say this is how the Earth operates. This is the creation that we are in. And you and I are this tree. Exactly, we are exactly like the tree. The dark represents Earth, Mother Earth, everything that is of this planet. That is our three-dimensional reality. So, and this, the tree is us. Once we are able to get past this, we will grow into the tree and deliver the fruits that our soul has come to offer this world. But not before that. As long as we are caught down here, what is it? These are our roots. This is our connection to earth. This is our body. This is our emotional excitement. That's all the growth impulses that we have. These are all our family, our ancestors, our race, our culture, our history. All that is resident of this place. Nothing bad about it. We need it. Like a tree needs its roots. It has to have that. And the wider the roots, the more stable we are, the greater thing that we have to be able to grow out of there. However, what happens is unless there is a very important part that is being opened, this is the location of our heart center. The three lower chakras are residents of the yin part. And if the heart is not open, these shoots cannot rise up. The shoots will always be wanting to rise up, and they do. That's how we've come to where we are and have grown as much as we have grown. But if our heart is not open, we have not learned how to keep our heart open, then that growth is stunted. So what does that mean? Heart opening means everything we love. So I've written over here, it's love and there's fear. There are only two impulses that will motivate us to move. There is love. Love will pull us towards it. And there is fear. Fear will push us away from it. These are the only two. Everything else, all other emotions, all other things are rooted either in one or the other. All creation will come from love. All creation that is sucking our life away come from fear. Somebody is so afraid. Our minds are very good. We are very, very well equipped with creating some very sophisticated stuff. But is it coming from love? If it turns out not making us feel good, then we have to question that. Why does it feel like a prison? Or because the prison was created because somebody was afraid. Now, there is a place for fear, which is caution. There is a place because if we didn't have those impulses, we would not be able to spread our roots. But comes a point of time when the time comes for our soul to find that purpose and go headlong towards it, By this time, we have established this already. We have to open up our heart. And what does that mean? The heart is a place that does not judge. There is no polarity in the heart space. There is no good or bad. There is no dark or light. There is no fear or love. It's everything is like, oh, this is life. And wow, isn't it interesting? I never would have thought that somebody could do that. But I have not judged. I can be discerning. There is a difference between being discerning and being judgmental. Discerning is when I look at something and say, oh, wow, interesting. Never seen that before. But I'm not placing a judgment saying that's terrible. Why would somebody do something? The moment we get into the that's terrible, why would somebody do something? We have opened up the stairway to fear. I have suddenly identified with the danger of that thing, and I'm already feeling fearful. Here are people getting massacred and killed in Ukraine and Russia and Middle East, wherever. It is happening there. Something, the heart is very sensitive. As soon as we hear of it or see it or something, our emotion is always working. It never sits still. Maybe for a while we're sleeping, and even that is questionable. Moment we are faced with a new reality, immediately the emotions will come in and it will move either to love or to fear, depending on the intensity of that particular expression of whatever is going on. It'll take us, we will identify either with our deepest fears or we'll identify with our biggest hopes and we'll go there. But the heart space is a place where we need to really pause and say, okay, I am so worried about all those people who were so cruelly treated by the Hamas and the torture and all of that. My heart really, really feels bad. So what I don't do is get onto the phone and say, "Did you hear this? Did you read that news? Do you see what terrible things are happening? Somebody should something. They should change policies. There's blah 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 blah." We don't do that. If that is a part of our life's work, a life's purpose, we will be guided to do that. And at what level of expression that will happen, that comes later. But right at the beginning, we have to acknowledge something is happening over here. It is hurting me. And there's a part of me which really wants to judge it as something terrible, but I am not going to get into that judgment. I'm going to sit here, I'm going to talk to my high self and ask, Spirit, what can I do? How will I spend the next uh, period of my life in alleviating this madness over here so that we can create that loving space in the world? I don't know. I am at a loss because what you will do, the first few answers will come from the mind. But that may or may not be because the mind has no clue into the future. The mind can only project what has already been lived by us, the rest of the world, all humanity. The mind can only project, it's the artificial intelligence. The real intelligence actually comes from up here. So first stop is the heart. Okay. Let's move a step further and see how it connects with the body and our own energy field. So let's look at this one. So the energy field is around us. And most people who are on this call, I know, have worked with energy, so we know. There are a lot of people who have yet to come to a place where even the fact that we are more than just this three-dimensional body is new to them. And telling them, I think it is one of our duties or privileges to be able to include more people into this body of knowledge. And if you look at this picture properly, you'll see that, sorry, um, the heart. If you've ever followed the Heart Math Institute's research, etc., they will tell you that the heart is way, way more intelligent than the brain or the mind. Because the brain connects directly to our lower mind, which is the solar plexus. The mental body is connected to the solar plexus. Just let's take a look at this one. So, this is actually what we appear in our energetic form. There are the seven chakras. The lowest one is at the perineum and it goes up, heart center. And then there is the throat, the third eye, and the crown. The crown is the gateway of our is our spiritual access to higher intelligence and our future. The heart has to open in order for that to download into the lower mind. Because all our action finally will happen in the three-dimensional area, which is going to be in this part, because we are residents of the earth. But in order to bring that in, it has to percolate through this. It will not percolate if this heart is not present, if it is, we have shut it off with our fears and our anxieties and our codependencies and our blames and our shames and all of that. It can't come through. So for the soul to really reach that place where I can give off my fruit, we have to first open the heart and at least accept something that this is going on. This is a part of life. This is happening to me. This is happening to the world. This is happening to humanity. It is happening to Mother Earth. Once we pause there, then the rest of it will come. And now we will go and start downloading our stuff. Not Malabika stuff, not whatever XYZ says, not so and so stuff, not so and everybody else is what the books are saying, what the TV is saying, what whoever is saying. We will listen to all that because that is a part of our mental makeup. I need information. Let's get the information. Absolutely. Very rich. We have to, because some of them we will resonate with, others we will say, I'm not so sure about that. But there is a very wonderful way of figuring it out. Something that lights you up is always in the direction of your soul's purpose. Something that excites you, that makes you like, oh, I could sit and do this for hours. It is your guidance. You have to go in that direction. It may not be the ultimate pathway because the pathway is not straight and clear. But pathway has got a lot of turns, but it is certainly in the right direction. And I give you a couple of examples. But let's go to from here. Why is it that we get excited about something and then we have not been able to follow through? Why does that happen? Because as we are going on that pathway, something happens and a part of this shows up. A very strong root system, which has got a lot of, let's say, a lot of toxicities. My experiences in younger years that if you do this, boy, that's not safe. That's going to really kick me over. Oops, stop. I'm not going to do that. We have even taken vows saying, I will never do that. I will never talk to that person. I will not let that person's shadow come to my doorstep. We do that, because, and that's necessary in this space. This is necessary because we need to be safe because love is out there. This is fear. The closer we go here, the more deeper we go, our fears are deeper. And what is our fear? Our fear is essentially saying that your human existence is in jeopardy. We are never in any danger. Our souls are never in any danger. The work we've come here to do, the seed that got planted in the Kundalini when we were conceived, that is here, just like any seed you plant in any tree, given the right circumstances, it'll grow. It keeps growing for as long as it receives all the goodness, the sun, the moon, the sun, the air, the rain, whatever. But if this gets blocked here, then it's not getting that. It's not getting the sunshine. It's not getting the spiritual come hither. It's not getting the inspiration, the attraction. It has to exist right here. And look at your botanics. You know what happens to a plant if it gets drowned. The roots get drowned, and it has no way. So there is always a balance. Don't ever think that the soul will always keep us in this place of wonderfulness and spirituality and big light. No, it can't. You need both, because this, my friends, is the compost from which the roots bring the nutrition that is necessary to develop this and go. This is our knowledge base. This is our history. This is our tradition. This is all those wonderful things on which humanity has based its growth. It all lives here. We can't get rid of it. What we have to do is to recognize which is not serving the seed that I am carrying of my soul to do the thing. That is the discernment. How will you know that? So let's go to the next part. So in our second chakra, which is somewhere here, it is called Swadhisthana in Sanskrit. The word means it is the seat of the self. The seat of the self is where our inner child lives. This seed, in the first 7 years of our or so of our lives, it is in its pure form because it hasn't been cluttered up with all the other stuff, the mental stuff. That comes later. But this is when we create our emotional body. We think of children, 5, 6, even less. In their innocence, in their purity, that is the expression of the soul, which is the pure expression. It doesn't know what is dangerous. It doesn't know what is. It just feels and it goes. The child will try anything out. The mental, the cautionary and all of that is the job of the stewards who are taking care of this child. But that purity of childlike excitement still is in here. If that is gone, means that the soul has really lost its light. But if you scratch a little deeper, it's there in everybody. It'll get triggered by music, it'll get triggered by dance, by poetry, by walking in the woods, by swimming, by a relationship, touching somebody else, having a conversation. It gets triggered. And we have to nurture that consciously, because left to our, if we are not doing it consciously, then we are falling into the collective. That's a part of the darker, that tradition, the mind of the collective consciousness. There is one thing which I love, and I always like to share this with everyone, is what Esther Hicks talks about. It's called the emotional guidance scale. And because our energies are very reactive, when something surprising happens, then immediately the first thing happens is that inner child says, oops, is this safe? And some emotion will come out. Now, there are lots of places where you have words or expression which expresses that. And I like Esther Hicks's because it's one of the simpler ones. David Hawkins has got in his book about, and he also talks about what is the vibration. But this one, what it shows is that if the top of this spiral and the bottom of this spiral, actually this spiral belongs on top of that. So this is the part on the right, which is in the darker part of this. That's the right-hand spiral, and the left-hand spiral belongs to this other part. So if you look at it that way, over here, where I place the the heart, this is the place of neutral. Heart is open total acceptance of everything that is. And so in this spirals, they talk about it's a place of nothing is happening. Something is happening, but we don't have any strong emotion around it. So there is boredom, which then, if we hang around in boredom too much, then we will start going down the spiral. Pessimism, frustration, impatience, and all that will start happening, and it will take us down. The bottom of this spiral is insecurity, unworthiness, fear, depression, powerlessness, and victimhood. This is where we will go to if we are getting bored and we are not feeling like excited about life, and we are not inquiring as to why were we here. We will sooner or later get there. On the other hand, boredom also can look very much like contentment. Yeah, nothing is happening, but you know what? I'm in a good place. I just achieved this. We just moved to this beautiful house. I feel very content. I'm going to hang here for a while on this eddy. But we can't. Our spirit won't allow us for very long. Because if it becomes too long, then we'll start feeling like, oh, I'm getting bored now. What next? And then we start moving up this. And when we go up this, what is the hopefulness, optimism, positive expectations, and so on, enthusiasm, passion, etc. This is the way. And then we come to realize joy and love and all that. But the point is, let's say something really brought out the worry in me. Something happened out there, and I got the news, and suddenly I'm starting to worry. What am I supposed to do? How from here do we from here jump to this other spiral, Malabika? Is there a way? Absolutely. There is a way, and we have to do it. There is no escape. If we don't, then we will go down the spiral. What is the first thing? That is where the process comes in. So what is the process? The process is we have to inquire. First question is, I was feeling great all day, all morning, and then suddenly something happened. I was expecting a phone call, it didn't come, or I got a phone call and it said the wrong thing, and suddenly I'm in this place of oops, and all my fears and everything come up. Pause, pause. First, pause and do what? Pause and inquire. What happened? The question that I have to ask then is, what is my fear? What am I afraid of? And it can be a very little thing, minor. Today, this hour is getting effective, or it can be something that will affect the rest of my life. Identify the fear. Once we've identified the fear, so I'll tell you, let me see if I can find an appropriate example. Yes. So there is this one of my clients, she's talking to me and she says some legal stuff is going on in her husband's business. And she says, I can't sleep at night. And, can you do a clearing? So in the process, what came out is that she is afraid that she's going to lose her house. They're afraid that her husband, the legal thing will turn bad, and he will be incarcerated. And if that happens, then she will not have a home. So she's gone down that spiral, the right-hand spiral, all the way down to hopelessness, shame, helplessness, and all of that is happening over there. How do you turn it back? So now you know that your real fear is you're going to lose your house. You'll be homeless. The rest of it, this is a construct of the mind, by the way. As soon as something has happened, the mind has gone down that road already. Oh, I know so and so, this is what happened, blah, 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 da, 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 da. The mind is very wily, very strong, very smart, very powerful. Why? Because everybody lives of their mind. Few people live from their hearts, and even fewer from their higher faculties, higher mind, intuition, and all that. So what happens is that, okay, so you understand that this has not happened. You are taking stuff from the past and you're projecting it into the future, and it's taking you down there. Stop. Take a pause. Ask now to yourself, how would you like it to be? That's the question. Well, that was the third one. How would you like the future to be? Because one of the things that we forget and we have to remind ourselves is we are the creators. If I can imagine it, I can also create it. Now, this people have to really take this in a little bit at a time. If I can imagine it, I can also create it because we have all the faculties to do it. If we have not done it, then it's a good time to start. So I asked this gal who was talking to me, I said, well, how would you like it to be? So she said, well, I don't want to lose my house. So I said, I don't say what you don't want. Say what you want. What would you want? I want to have a house. And then we, so she wants a place, she's happy to have a place where she can be comfortable and not feeling like out in the elements and all of that. Great, great, great. So I told her, write it all down. Write it all down in terms of like, not that I don't, uh, I don't want to be out in the elements. No, you never say no. The universe does not understand. Just like that thing I said, you can't clear the darkness out because there is no out there. The darkness has to transform into, has to become the compost instead of the toxins that it is supplying you with, your mind with right now. It has to become the compost which gives you the nutrients. Oh, I know what I don't want. So therefore, I know I can from there extrapolate and say, in fact, this is what I do want. Once you do want it, and once you start thinking about it and imagining it and start putting the faith, now you have to ask, all right, high self, are you hearing? This is what I would like to have in my future. Start there. Once we ask, then we have started to turn the table. We will first inquire, what am I afraid of? Then I will contemplate, where is that coming from? I recognize this is my fear of my security. It's very natural. Nobody is arguing that you should not have this fear. All we are saying is that that was a reaction. Are there other alternatives? This is the expansion. This is the soul expansion. Are there other alternatives? Yes, it is possible for me to bring into my life a condition that I do not have to live with the elements. I will always have a roof over my head. It requires tremendous faith because the mind will say, how do you know who will give it to you? You don't have any money in the bank. You don't know anybody. Tell the mind to shut up. Go. Because with this same lady, we walked through that whole path and I asked her, okay, so imagine this has happened. What the worst case scenario that you're imagining? What are you going to do? Are you going to go and jump into the lake or into the ocean and the river and kill yourself? Is that because that is when what are we afraid of? We are afraid of death, right? That's the final thing. She says, no, of course not. I said, so what will happen? So then she starts going down that road. Oh no, I have a sister. She will. So how long will you be? That's a great relief. You have a sister who will not allow that. Okay, how long will you be with your sister? After a while, because your spirit will not let you rest. You can't just take somebody's rescuing you and be there because your spirit will say, no. Where is your self worth? Where is your ability? Move, do something. What do you do? Oh, I don't know. I have to figure out a way of earning. And can you? Yes, I can. What do you do? So she said, must have said something. So this is what happens. If we allow ourselves to go into that fear place to the worst case scenario, go there and ask, all right, I'm here, now what? And imagine the rest of the way and come to that place that you really, that is the re-scripting. Accept the vulnerability. My gosh, I'm so vulnerable. Yes, we are. There are times in our lives we feel extremely vulnerable and we feel that this is the end of the story. But if we can imagine it and if we can put our faith in it, and we have to re-script it. Think of the future and rewrite the story which your mind has told you, oh, it's going downwards. to hell in a handbasket. I'm going to ask you to really ask yourself very honestly as you're looking at what's going on in the world with the earth, with our political system, with our financial system, with our judicial system, with the wars, everything. How much have you bought into this space of where the world is going to hell in a handbasket? So if you have, even if you have done it a little bit, I'm asking you now, let that go. The reason why we are here together is to take charge of that creative faculty that God has given us and say, no, not going down that path, not having that conversation. I'm not going to spend a single breath of mine giving more fuel to that conversation. No, the conversation is it is up to us. We have to change it. This is a part of our soul. We've created it. We're going to change it. And this is how we're going to do it. Then you come to the next part, which is the heart. We've talked about the heart has got tremendous power. Look at the size of that auric field. Just above the heart is the throat center. This is our creative place. What we think, what we express, what we say becomes our reality. If there is somebody who's getting under my skin and I feel like, oh my gosh, I want this person out of my life. But if we are able to open our heart and say, this person is being who he is or who she is, I don't have to hate, but you know what? I sure would like to make room for this person in my life because this person is in my life. So I start saying, I love you. I don't even have to say to the person. I just, in my mind, I see the person's face, I see her or him sitting in front of me and I say, I love you. I'm really trying very hard to love you. It's not easy, but I want to love you. I love you. I love you. We create that love. That the little child inside of us hears that and says, oh, there's something loving over here. So let's get to know this person better. We can change it with our speech, with our thought, with our belief. A lot of the times we have to change the belief system because the belief system is this. Many of our belief systems stand us in good stead. Some of them have to change now at this time because mankind is going through such a huge shift. So some beliefs don't have any more to give. We've outlived those. We have to change. So when we are doing our contemplation, what is my belief that is taking me to this dark space? Change that belief. Not easy. You may need a coach to help you do that. Because when I say, how would you like it? People will say, I don't want to be lonely. I'm not asking what you don't want. How would you like it to be? I want a friend, a companion, somebody I can have an intimate relationship with. Well, then say that. Do you care whether it's a man, woman, child, dog? You may say, yes, I do. And that's fair enough. Go from there. All right, my last thing after which I'll stop and leave the time open for a little bit of conversation is this we did. And here is what is the process? We do need to have a regular meditation practice. Why? Because we cannot make space for our inner voice to speak unless we make space. Because the mind is so wily. The mind is actually very worried that the moment we start going towards our spiritual direction, that it will get annihilated. And it's not even wrong. But we love the mind. But the mind is not the navigator. The mind is the driver. So the mind will go. We have to make sure that the mind goes where we tell it to go. Don't just hijack me and take me down to a place where I'm homeless. Nonsense. I'll never be homeless. As long as I have this body, there is a higher self which is taking care of me and always have a roof over my head. and food for my belly. It's given. That's the promise we've come with. But so unless we have this practice, we will not be able to hear that voice. So and meditation doesn't mean you have to sit cross-legged and all that. No. Meditation is going inwards. So you can be doing it while taking a walk, while taking a swim, while fixing dinner, while so outer activity is not what is about meditation. Going in is it's a contemplation, it's an intention, it's in the back of the mind. So the mind is doing, the body and the mind can be doing something, but the uh, meditative practice is the contemplation within, is pausing, recognizing, inquiring what is bringing up, recognizing what it's bringing up, and changing it. If you have the time to sit in meditation quietly and being still, excellent, excellent. But if you don't have that, then have a regular meditative practice, whatever that be, playing music, something which sort of brings you back into your center, and the inner child has a play field open. Keeping the heart open means being discerning but not judgmental. Imagination and visualization. If you can't imagine how it would be, you'd like it to be, it's unlikely you'll create it. Impeccable speech, fifth chakra. Never say anything and actually get rid of beliefs which is coming from the places which you are accustomed to. Oh, everybody's going to have a lot of money problem because of this thing that's going on with the banking. Oh my gosh, we will be in a hot mess once the digital currency happens. Don't go there. We don't know. Human beings have tremendous ingenuity. And even if it's troublesome, I'm sure my high self will show me a way to deal with that. I have the resilience, the strength, the purpose. We move forward and connection to the self. So the sum and substance of it, of what I'm saying over here, is that this idea came to me because recently I was working, not recently, last year, a few months ago, somebody came for a session and I asked her, she was 78 years old. I said, so yeah, tell me, why have you come to me? She says, well, I'm 78 years old. I just want to know what is my mission? Why am I still alive? I says, why? You don't like your life? She says, well, I kind of, it's okay. But I really don't like it that much. I just want to know what I'm supposed to do so I can do it and leave. I don't just hang around over here. And that really, sort of intrigued me. I said, here is somebody who evidently doesn't have any problem, anything that she actually considers a problem. And so we did the probing. Oh, so what's going on? How do you feel? Then the truth comes out about three-quarters of the way in the session, which is that she had a beautiful home with lots of acreage, but as she was getting older and figured she was not going to be able to take care of it, she sold the house. And she sold the house to a lady who was kind enough to say, and they had a contract that as long as she's alive, she will be able to stay in one portion of the house, which is where she stays. Now, her problem is that she's accustomed to living in this house as a queen. And now she is confined to this place, and she and the real landlady now, they're constantly getting into this thing. And then she's sitting and telling me, oh, how she's very controlling, she's this, this, this. We recognize our qualities in other people very quickly. Then I said, all right, here is the job that your high self is asking you to do, is you have to learn to love this lady. Because this is, our challenges we never ever feel that I've taken care of everything. Now there will be no more challenge. No, first we take care of all our personal things, then our family, then our greater community, then the collective. The job is never done. As long as we are in the world, there will always be the yin and the yang, the light and the dark. And depending on how much you're interested, how much is your commitment, how much energy you have, you will be called to work with larger and larger and larger groups of people. So that is where I'm going to pause.
Malabika, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So I was busy writing notes. The second chakra is linked to the emotional body. The heart, is it the crown chakra?
No, the third chakra is the mental body. The
Okay.
heart is the heart chakra. It's also called the causal body. This
All
is
right.
the place. It's like a mesh. It's a gateway for the spiritual energy to come through to the lower dimensions. Because we came here to bring heaven on earth, right? So the spiritual part of us has to find its way in the three-dimensional and express itself. In a very unique way, Jean, you are contributing to mankind in the most unique way through your exclusive soul purpose. So the sum and substance actually is whatever your inner child is telling you, bringing excitement, it is taking you to the purpose, to your purpose. It's not something you want to discover and say, oh, this is it. No.
Malabika, I just want to say that I've never seen the yin and yang with the tree in it. And I thought that was a beautiful representation. Like that was so well done. So I'm going to try to look for one of those.
I'll send you mine. You are expressing exactly what I sort of came to little by little. Is that, oh, this is exactly the story that we have to live with both parts. We can't eliminate either, and we have to have them both in equal balance. Otherwise, we are not strong. And then we keep getting pulled by the mind. Oh, that is bad. This is good. You should do this. All these shoulds and things are all things of the past. You may have heard me say it in my various classes. Should have to got to must go. No, no shoulding. So I have a motto which is if it's not fun, count me out.
Well,
But I also go ahead.
I was just going to say, because I've taken the SRT classes, a large focus is on clearing things. But really, listening today, it's helped kind of refocus on. It's really about transformation, transmutation. There's nowhere to really. There's no trash can, so it's really about transforming the discord or um,
The belief system.
healing our aversions or discord with it, so we're not it it kind of cleans up the glue where we would be attracting the discord, and so that's been helpful.
Thank you. So Robert used to say everything is BS. Everything is belief system. The entire creation is structured on thoughts and beliefs. And so we are married to the thoughts and beliefs of humankind. So if you look at chart 10A, which talks about race beliefs, it's all the beliefs that the human being from its nascent stages has come to collate. And those are the root things. And some of them are really, really deeply embedded. And we need that. Some of it we need absolutely for our safety. But the
I
ones,
love that.
yes.
Everything is BS. I love that. Everything is belief systems. So true. Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I have a question to ask you folks. When you look at your life and ask yourself this question, how close do I feel to my life's work, my soul purpose? Can you put a very subjective number to it? One thing I'll tell you, when you find that, find the right direction, you will know. And then it will evolve from there. And this is what happened to me when I took my Reiki class about 25 years ago. I said, oh, I didn't even know that there's this thing called an aura and chakras and all of that. And suddenly here I got expanded into this field. And I said, oh my goodness, I don't have to do this management mental stuff anymore. Let's set that aside. Let's do this. And so you get started. And once you get started, then the knowledge comes that you open the door. The moment you, from your heart, you say, oh, this feels so exciting. This is what I want to do. And you ask from inside, then step by step, the doors will open, new people will show up, the new thing, Nupur is smiling because she knows this, and new knowledge will come and you will read that and you go like, ooh, wow, yes, there's another piece. And like Renee is saying, oh, the yin and the yang, there's another piece. Wow, that really nails it. And so, what I'm learning recently, the gene keys, big piece, that your path is already determined. It's there. The seed is sitting in your kundalini, in your, inner child already has the programming. Now, the problem is as we are growing and the path is getting open for us, we have to deal with our past karmas, all the negative stuff that we've collected, whether it's personal or whether it's collective, doesn't matter. You have a job to clean up. In my case, I have to clean up selfishness and move toward that's the karmic stuff. Then there is other stuff, conditioning. You should do this, you should not that, you should be an engineer, you should not be a massage therapist, all that. Then there is our emotional, the inner child is being conditioned, so it'll do. Then, of course, eventually we okay, clean all that. The gene keys gives you the tools. So it's just what vibration is it at? Which is the vibration you need to transmute? That I found it like, wow, when once you know it, then you can sit and ask, well, how do I change this stuff? So if you are unfamiliar with the body of knowledge of the gene keys, please.
Malabika, I just wanted to say thank you. I just really appreciate the presentation. Could you just briefly say a little something about chakras 5, 6, and 7? Because it's making it sound like you just open the heart and then it's a direct connection. But what about those guys?
That's that, when you open the heart, the shoots are coming up, the shoots of the real truth. So a fifth chakra is your creative center. So it's like, God said, let there be light, and there was light. So everything we speak, we are speaking as spirit. So we have a prayer in those people who have done SRT. We say, Spirit and I are one. So I'm that little cup of consciousness. So whatever I speak, I say, embodies my intention and it comes into reality immediately. This is why in that book, The Four Agreements, he says that impeccable speech is one of the requirements of creating. So that's our fifth chakra. Of course, there's much more depth to this. Sometimes we don't even have to speak, it's the vibration. The words may or may not matter. We might, I've done group intention where we've just done toning. You create in your mind, you have this thought, and you do the Om chant and send it up into the things. So, and that intention carries. The sixth center is the seat of your intuition. And that's the place when we have a regular meditation practice, a quiet meditation, a centering meditation, it really helps us to get sensitive to the messages that are coming through. So this is the higher mind. This actually has access to all the information in the heavens, And people have, I don't know if you're familiar with SRT, we do use a pendulum for dowsing. the movement of the pendulum is reflecting the movement of the body, which is being triggered by a higher mind, which comes through. So this is one of the pathways. The crown center is, of course, open to spiritual guidance always. That's where our spirituality comes through. These are like, TV impulses or radio frequencies, if you will. It's constantly coming. If we didn't have that coming, then life would be very boring. We would die of depression if we didn't have that coming through.
Mm-hmm. Do you see these three chakras as having the toxins also and needing the clearings?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay, that's helpful.
So the light and the dark pervades, even in the non-physical. For instance, if we do SRT where you're talking about higher level beings who are non-physical, but yes, darkness also is there. Even they're learning, even they're evolving.
Thank you.
Mhm.
If I may just put in a thing, it's really wonderful, really wonderful. I love the entire presentation. It was very, very to the point, and every word you said is fantastically important. And like, it should seep in, and then following that entire path will really lead people to a lot of, going to that positive step that is necessary. And only the last a point which I would like to mention here is after that impeccable speech, you mentioned about energy movement techniques. In many times, even when I'm working with my people, I've noticed that, they say, but, we've understood all this. We've understood that we should not stay in that place. We know, we understand that transcendence, that transformation. But at that point of time comes these things, the energy
Yeah,
movement
yeah,
technique, which you have mentioned. And that is like suddenly, if you say, well, stop there, you don't have to really become so overwhelmed. Just do a little bit of tapping, this, that, and all this. And then they'll say, oh, yeah, this works. And then this frees up the entire, that process in which they were not being able to see any light. So it's very, very important here that you mentioned this. And that energy movement technique is, it comes, you've just placed it at the right place. It comes just above connecting with the high self, which it leads to. And
yeah.
suddenly you see, I've got this insight, which I was not getting earlier. And then, yes, there it is.
So
So
Shweta,
really,
thank you
really
so much
fantastic.
for mentioning that, because see, we are experts at mental collecting knowledge. Our minds are jam packed. Our filing cabinets are so full that we don't have place for more. That's not the point, because what is now happening, it's come down, that it's the reverse, it's the involution, not the evolution. The knowledge has come, but it's all in the mental, in the mind. The alchemy, what you're talking about, we have to energetically transform it, so that knowledge actually does changes my body, changes my reactions. My inner child feels open, more free. Till such time it does that, it has got very limited. I know, we all know this, we read it. Why? How many years we've spent it. But that is the most important part. You do it, you recognize it. I think most of us over here in this group have some form of energy, what did you say, ability, work that we've learned, whether it's Reiki or emotional freedom technique or neuro-linguistic programming or all kinds of things. It's absolutely necessary. So thanks for bringing that portion up. One of the things that know that we are here on earth at this time of great turbulence, it's not an accident. We've chosen to be here. We have to fix our inner stuff, which of course most of us are working on. That's not a problem. But community, my friends, coming together, calling small groups, large groups, whatever is, because this has to be magnified. More and more people need to know we are not powerless, we are not victims. That mindset has to leave. So do whatever you can in whichever way you can. Something's fun, something, write articles, speak, get up on the rooftop and shout. All right, lovely people. Thank you so much.